Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. We kick off today with the latest from Salesforce, where that company has released a sweeping revision of their AI platform in an update that they are calling Agentforce 3.0. The upgrade includes a new command center feature that gives executives real-time visibility into agent performance, so in other words, an observability suite. It also adds native support for the MCP and A2A interoperability standards. Remember, MCP is a protocol for giving agents access to different data sources. Each MCP server is connected to a different data source. So basically, rather than agents having to design their own connection points to whatever data they need, they can just plug into an MCP server that exists and is already standard for that data source, making things a lot faster. A2A is exactly what it sounds like, an agent-to-agent messaging standard that can also make these systems work more cleanly. Now, the update comes as Salesforce starts to hit scale with this product. According to their internal data, agent usage is up 233% over 6 months, with more than 8,000 customers now signed up for the service. Says EVP Jayesh Govindarajan, "We have hundreds of live implementations, if not thousands, and they're running at scale. AI agents are no longer experimental. They have really moved deeply into the fabric of the enterprise." Now, to some extent, these features feel like table stakes. Overall, the system is designed to address what Govindarajan calls day 2 problems, or operational challenges that emerge after the initial deployment. Discussing observability, he says you can have multiple agents from multiple personas, and you need to have the ability to observe how that's actually impacting the task that needs to get done at scale. Interoperability is another one of those no-brainer features, but still relevant coming from this source. Gary Lehrhaupt, the VP of Product Architecture, is basically saying that their interoperability is purpose-built for the enterprise use case. He said there's generic interoperability, and then there's what we call enterprise-grade interoperability. He said that the difference is a layer of governance and control tools that help enterprise customers trust external tool access. With the 3.0 launch, Salesforce is including over 20 vetted MCP servers, including Stripe, Google Cloud, AWS, and Box. Now, why it is worth paying attention to what big companies like Salesforce or Microsoft or Google are doing when it comes to enterprise agents is that these are the big companies who are setting the tone for what major enterprises expect. Salesforce in particular has been very early and aggressive to the agent transition. You might remember back in October, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff really started to take Copilot to task. For example, this tweet, "When you look at how Copilot has been delivered to customers, it's disappointing. It just doesn't work and it doesn't deliver any level of accuracy. Gartner says it's spilling data everywhere and customers are left cleaning up the mess. To add insult to injury, customers are then told to build their own custom LLMs. I've yet to find anyone who's had a transformational experience with Microsoft Copilot or the pursuit of training and retraining custom LLMs. Copilot is more like Clippy 2.0. Now, of course, that had more than a little bit of marketing, but the market has basically proven Benioff's moves correct. The entire enterprise space has shifted to focus on agents, and so I think that when you look at the feature set that's coming to Agentforce, it almost reads like a map of what you can expect across enterprise agent platforms in general. Next up, more details about Zuck's attempted spending spree, where apparently Runway was another acquisition target. At this stage, it seems like every single AI company has fielded offers from Mark Zuckerberg over the past month as he's been assembling his superintelligence team. The latest reporting comes from Bloomberg, who stated that video generation startup Runway was on Zuck's shortlist. Sources say that meetings took place, but a formal offer with a number attached was never made. Now, as speculation around what the idea here was, Runway on the one hand seems like perhaps a strange target as they don't work on core foundation models. But then again, sniffing around for a video model company could indicate that Zuckerberg is looking to improve Meta's multimodal AI or even take a world model-based path to AGI. It could also simply mean that Zuck was in talks with every single AI unicorn last month. And indeed, reporting from the Wall Street Journal makes it sound like that's exactly what happened. They write, "Mark Zuckerberg is spending his days firing off emails and WhatsApp messages to the sharpest minds in artificial intelligence in a frenzied effort to play catch-up. He has personally reached out to hundreds of researchers, scientists, infrastructure engineers, product stars, and entrepreneurs to try to get them to join a new superintelligence lab he's putting together. Some of the people who received the messages were so surprised they didn't believe it was really Zuckerberg. One person assumed it was a hoax and didn't respond for several days." Andrew Curran suggested that AI researchers should be checking their WhatsApp and emails regularly lest they miss out on Zuckerberg buying them a mansion. He posted, "If you get an email from Mark Zuckerberg, do not assume that it is fake. He's taken over recruitment for the superintelligence lab and is reaching out to hundreds of prospects personally. If you respond, the next step is an invitation to dinner." Lastly yesterday we talked about the mega $2 billion at a $10 billion valuation seed round that former OpenAI CTO Mira Murati had raised for her Thinking Machines lab. But part of the intrigue around that was how little information there was about what the company is actually going to do. In fact, quotes from investors suggested that the pitch deck didn't include a business plan, financials, or even a ton of product planning. Now, however, thanks to reporting from The Information, we are getting some look at what TML is cooking up to compete in this crowded space. After closing the round, investors were let in on the secret. TML is reportedly working with reinforcement learning to create reasoning models trained on specific business metrics and KPIs. The elevator pitch is apparently reinforcement learning for businesses. The idea seems to be to offer custom models that have industry-specific insights about how to generate more revenue, grow profits, etc. The Information writes, TML may be banking on the idea that customers of AI may be willing to pay a premium for models customized for their industry, such as customer support, investment banking, or retail. At the same time, they point out, TML may still pursue other enterprise AI ideas. Look, all seems possible, but the proof will be in the pudding. And how much better and how much more insight you could actually get from that type of model, I think remains to be seen. But you got to think that the enterprises out there, if this is really the course for Merati's Thinking Machine Labs, are going to be excited at having someone who has such capitalization to focus on exactly their goals and needs. For now, though, that is going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief Headlines edition. Next up, the main episode.